Namaskar and good evening to all present in this online program. Respected deans of the School of Educational Sciences, Management Studies and Legal Studies, and also esteemed head of departments of Business Administration, Education, Hospitality and Tourism Management, and Law, and our dear students. This is a part of a series of programs on awareness of gender issues being conducted by the Internal Complaints Committee, in short ICC, for the newly admitted students of Assam University. Actually, our idea was to have a online program school-wise or maybe in larger case department-wise in offline mode. But as all of us know, because of COVID situation, the university is yet to be fully functional and classes has not yet started. So we have no other option but to resort to this online platform. The basic idea is to make our newly admitted students, I mean first semester students of different PG and UG departments, aware of the need of having a gender sensitive campus that will enable in providing a very congenial and good academic ambience for all to pursue their education and other extracurricular activities in the campus, and to make their life comfortable, vibrant, and enjoyable. We are fortunate and delighted to have our chairperson, Internal Complaints Committee, Professor Otri Deshamukko, a professor in the Department of Physics and former head of the Department of Physics, to take this session forward. This will be basically a lecture session followed by interactive program. So I appeal to all the student friends to join this program in full energy and take something out of it. So I welcome all of you in this online platform and request our esteemed chairperson ICC, Professor Otri Deshamukko ma'am, to present this, to chair this session. Thank you, Otri ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Dhar, for nicely introducing the program to the participants today. On behalf of ICC Assam University Silchar, I would like to welcome all the participants from different departments, especially management, law, and education today to this program. This is a part of our routine sensitization, and as Mr. Dhar has already told you, that we are doing it over online platform, and this in COVID situation, we actually this is an advantage for us that we are being able to do it online because we are being able to reach many people through online platform. Otherwise, over offline, sometimes not easy. And I thank the head of the departments and deans for informing the students about this session. This is more about informing you rather about certain pros and cons of your behavior and certain issues that you should be aware of when you are going to enter your service life, I mean, student life will be over very soon. And moreover, this is a co-ed campus, so certain things you should be aware of, because there are certain laws in the country and certain issues that you should be aware of when you are inside a co-ed campus. Sorry, I got just my microphone got switched off. And so with that, I will just brief you about certain issues and certain points that you should be aware of so far as gender issues are concerned. And after that, if you have any question, any query, we are there to take care of. And in future, if you have any issues, you can feel free to contact any of the members of ICC. Whether it is me or somebody else will be in the chair, it is a by rotation. This committee is formed with a term period of 2 years. So you can just approach the committee, whoever is the member, if you have any issue around, about these things in future. But we sincerely hope that there will be no issue, and your stay in the university will be very comfortable and any issue less other than your academics. Okay, so with that, I'll go to a presentation. So here we go. So as the title says, that we are going today to discuss about the sexual harassment at workplace. And for you, the workplace is nothing but the university for the time being. I cannot go to a full screen mode. You please arrange or adjust it, zoom it in your machine or the mobile phone you are using, because I'm sitting in the admin panel and I'm letting people to join the platform also. So if I go to a full screen mode, I don't see people who are trying to join. So that is a problem. So I go straight. So what are the things that we are going to discuss today? Actually, we are trying to tell you what is the definition exactly of the sexual harassment. What are the different types, and how do you identify that such an incident is taking place? And unfortunately, if any such thing happens, then what are the steps that you should follow to seek justice? No, by definition of sexual harassment, we include any unwelcome, may it be verbal, visual, physical conduct, anything. It may be a severe one, it may be a pervasive one, but that affects the working condition, and for the person concerned, it creates an hostile work environment. So if such thing happens with a sexual motive that you have to identify properly, then we can call it a sexual harassment at the workplace. So particular behavior or particular conduct, out of which I told that it may be verbal, it may be visual, it may be physical, but if this particular conduct was taking place between two persons who are comfortable with this, then you cannot say that as an harassment. Okay, so if that particular behavior is welcome for the person to whom the behavior is being made, then there is nothing wrong in it. But okay, so I was telling that if it is uncomfortable for you, then it is very, very important that you communicate it clearly to the person who is executing such behavior. So if you do not express that you are uncomfortable with certain behavior, and you want it to be stopped, then it is implied that you are happy with that behavior, and if this particular behavior cannot be termed as a sexual harassment, it cannot be under the purview of law related to sexual harassment. Okay. Now, how this particular term, that any conduct or behavior or verbal, visual, physical should be of sexual nature, how do you identify that? So if it is a verbal thing, if you comment about somebody's clothing, personal behavior or body shape, or you cut sexual or sex based jokes, or you ask for a sexual favor, you are repeatedly asking somebody to go out with you, or you are repeatedly asking somebody to take her for dinner, or you are spreading rumors about somebody's personal life, or threatening a person through maybe verbal, through mails, or you send a text message, or you WhatsApp, everything comes under that particular scope of this particular term. Physical assault, anybody blocking anybody's way of movement, or inappropriate touching. Here comes whether particular touch looks inappropriate to the person with whom you are making this behavior. That is very, very important. If it is very natural between two persons, then there is nothing of harassment context. Okay. Then comes, it may be non-verbal also. If you look up and down a person and that person feels that your stare is very, very uncomfortable to her, that may also amount to sexual harassment. But keep it in mind that that person should tell you straight that I am not comfortable with your such behavior. So showing poster by making drawing or making cartoon or texting something, giving a sexual color is totally unwelcome and can amount to harassment if the person to whom you are making these things communicates that she is uncomfortable with such behavior. Now, how will you know that whether it is unwelcome? So you have to test yourself also. Sometimes it is not the other person should always come up and talk to you. You should be also able to judge your behavior, because the point is that provision of the law is against you. So you have anyone who is making the, who is a defaulter here. So as a person, you should also be able to judge whether you are doing the correct thing or not. So whenever you are dealing with a person, you should judge your own behavior so that you are not falling under the scope of this particular problem. Now, you have to really check whether there is a same power strata. Means, if you are dealing with one of your friends, you have the same, in the power strata, you are in the same position. But if it's a teacher student or student and somebody which is a senior junior student, then those things becomes a bit tricky. You have to see when you are mixing with somebody where there is there equal participation in that relation, or it is only one-sided, that you can well judge. Next question you have to ask yourself, that if the person who is very close to me, if the person is very close to me and some other person behaves in the same fashion with this particular person, will I like it? Means, suppose I have a friend and I'm behaving in a particular fashion with her, will I like another guy to behave in the same fashion with the same girl? So if I do not like it, I should not do the same thing either. So anybody, will I be in a position to justify my behavior when it comes to my relationship or it comes to my behavior with another person concerned. So that is what you should be able to judge yourself. One point is that if the other person comes and tells you that I am disliking it, even if you are finding that there is nothing wrong with it, then also it is unwelcome. What you are feeling is not important. To whom you are doing that particular behavior, if that person is feeling uncomfortable, that is the most important thing, and communicates to you. So before you get into such embarrassing situation, it is always better that you judge your own behavior while it is coming to a particular, specifically it is to the opposite sex. Okay. Now, harassments which are of non-sexual nature, that may also be sexual harassment if you are harassed because you are a female. I mean, that may be other way also. Because if you are harassed just because of your particular gender in a situation, then all that can also amount to sexual harassment. Here I have picked up one example, that if you are a woman and you are in carpenter, and in your place everybody is other colleague is a male, and then you have they are making some obstructions to your work because you are a female. They don't like a female to be there. It's not that they're harassing you way I am telling so far, but just they are taking away your tools and keeping it somewhere else so that you are not finding it at the time of work. Those things can also happen, amount to sexual harassment. This may happen at the time in the practical lab for the students. Here, here we have students who go for field work, or you go for a laboratory work. So you have to be very, very careful with such things. Now, another aspect, if you pass remarks or derogatory gestures, anything about a non-traditional sexual orientation, then that may also amount to sexual harassment. Okay, so somebody is lesbian or gay or bisexual, transgender, you cannot pass remark on it just because somebody is non-conforming to the a standard sexual identity in the society. Okay. So you cannot even ask somebody that what is your sexual practice, what is your mental sexual orientation, or anything which is derogatory, in the sense that because of that particular orientation you are passing remarks or you are judging somebody, then that person may feel harassed, and if complained, then it may attract the provisions of law against you. So it is not important whether the particular action is very severe or it is a pervasive nature. It may be both. Like either case, it will be included in the provision of sexual harassment. It will come under the provision of law for protection of women's rights, women's right in the workplace. So this is very important. What I said, that a number of relatively minor separate incidences may add to sexual harassment if incidents affect your work environment. Small things, small cutting jokes, or everyday gesture, these may also add up to sexual harassment. So you have to be really very attentive and very careful about how you are carrying yourself inside your campus, inside your classroom, inside your practicals, so that your behavior does not create any sort of uncomfort or discomfort to the other person who is there inside your class. So if you think that you are a victim, then how do you really judge whether it is just you are getting a false alarm, or seriously this is a serious case? So you have to ask a few questions to yourself. Actually, how many times this thing is happening? Whether this is a very stray incident, or it's really an intentional one. How long this is being going on? Uh, other persons who are getting same type of harassment from the same person, who are my witness? So these questions you have to ask yourself if you are you have a feel that you are getting harassed by somebody. Okay, so uh, if your work condition in a department here, you are going to your workplace very, so these things will be applicable there too. But so far as university life is concerned, within your department, you should not create an hostile or offensive work environment for anyone around you. May it be your junior, maybe it be your classmate, may it be your teacher, senior, anyone. So you have to judge all your moves, and even if you are not having any bad intention, your activity may be judged in a wrong line, and you have to guard yourself from such things to happen. So here I tried to define what is a hostile work environment. In general, these are in all legal terms. People of law department are here also, but in general, our sixth sense tells us what is an intentional and what is an unintentional one. So we have to be really in a position to judge what we are doing and what I am feeling against somebody's behavior. If I am uncomfortable, I have to really judge, and I should be able to tell the person over face that I am uncomfortable. If it is difficult for you to tell on face, you should communicate it through some person, maybe some senior, maybe some departmental faculty, or you may write a mail. But it is very important that before filing a complaint against the person, you communicate to him or her that you are not happy with such behavior, and the person should refrain from behaving in that particular fashion. Okay. So these are different types of harassment that I will give you notes if you go out with me. Example. So you can ask for some job benefit from somebody, but in lieu of that, you can ask for some company or some more things, whatever it may be, that may account to harassment. You may cut unwanted jokes, you can pat somebody, you may wish to take out somebody, or you may even sit on the next seat in the bus every day in spite of the other person telling you that I am not very comfortable with you sitting next to me in the bus. So these little things, even in the canteen also. So what point we want to make is that you have to be very careful in behaving in your behavior with reference to any other person inside the campus as well as outside the campus, so that nobody under these conditions that I have defined, nobody is able to point a finger towards you. Otherwise, it may really invite trouble for yourself. You may really invite trouble for yourself. You may attract the provisions of law against you. So if you are feeling and you are confirmed that you are harassed, then you have to be really professional. You have to be very direct. You let the person know that you don't like this. Even after that it is not stopped, you can go to a higher authority to lodge your complaint, and you have to be careful that when you are reporting of the harassment, you have to properly write the incidences, and you have to give the documentary support in favor of that. And always you should have an idea in mind that how to resolve the situation, because if it is amicably settleable, if it is there is some misunderstanding, there is a scope. So we should be able to explore all those things before really putting a complaint. Once you are really sure that you are getting harassed, then and only then you put a complaint. And once you put a complaint, you should be able to justify your complaint. Otherwise, it may attract the other provisions of the law against you. So in India, we have the Prevention and Prohibition Act 2013. Under provisions of this particular law, we have different provisions. If there is any complaint, the committee judge itself judge those complaints in light of the provisions of this law. So if you are interested, you can go and read in the, Google. You can do Google and you can find out all those things. But our main aim is to tell you how not to be involved in such incidences, so that the student life remains enjoyable. It doesn't become a unnecessary harassment for everybody associated with you. So there are certain things, some preventive and proactive measures. There are, the Me Too campaign, everybody is aware of that. So there are many things that you may explore, but since we have these provisions here of the complaint committee, so it is better that you approach the committee if you feel that you are getting harassed, and you can seek justice if you are feeling in that way. So this much I wanted to tell you today. So if anyone have any question or anything about what I have told you, you may please go ahead. You may unmute yourself and ask. And before leaving the platform, please record your attendance. If you have anything to discuss, you may ask, or I would like to stop here. If you are not interested in any discussion, before leaving the platform, please put your attendance through the link that I have already provided. I'm just reposting the link here because a few people joined late. If anyone has anything to ask, you can please.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, Jayashree.
Ma'am, this is Jayashree Posak, physics from physics department. Ma'am, I just want to ask that
okay, it is education. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am, education, but education department, physics honors.
Yeah, I understand.
Ma'am, I just want to ask that can harassment occur with men also?
Yeah, sure, it can. It can.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Sonarekha, you have joined a bit late. Yeah, Mr. Dhar, you want to speak something? You say something?
No, thank you, ma'am. It's a very nice way of presenting things to our students who are admitted in the university recently, but could not attend a formal class yet due to COVID situation. So it is a
and that is why such incidences will be less now, because nobody knows anybody.
Yeah. But it was, I think, though it is a fast program and in online mode, still our student friends could take something out of it. And there was a question from Jayashree, very pertinent question. What came out from Madam's presentation, I can summarize a few points that we should make ourselves aware of the legal provisions, these rules, Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace, Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. And there are some more regulations and rules that followed it. So all of us should make ourselves aware of this. These are very easily available in the net. And second thing is that Madam has clearly and very nicely pointed out that any behavior that is unwelcome, the word that we should underline is that unwelcome behavior from our seniors, from our fellow friends, colleagues, and all this. So any unwelcome behavior, we should immediately think about it and complain to the ICC or to the university authority, or even one she-box sexual harassment electronic box maintained by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. There also we can lodge. This link is there. And second is that this impact is important, not the intention. After doing something, if somebody says that it is not intentional, that will not help. If there is a complaint, the ICC will look into the impact part of it, not the intention. So thank you, ma'am, for enlightening the students on these issues. And also, I think we have some esteemed faculty members. Ramananda sir was there for some time. So anyone from the deans or HOD, if they want to make some comments, they are welcome. Chairperson, ma'am, I think there is not much response because some faculty members were there initially, I believe. So I think if there is no further comments from the or inquiries from the students, I think we can stop here for today.